Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Strange Mind 6. I'm your host, Ruby, and today we're going to be getting back into 60 Timeless Zen Stories by Akiyama. Where we last left off was number 34, Harmony in Unexpected Notes. But before we begin, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It would mean a great deal to me if you did. And without further ado, my dear friends, grab a snack, grab a drink, or sit back and relax. And let's get to it. Number 34. Harmony in Unexpected Notes. In the village near the forest, there was an elderly farmer named Masato. Known for his gruff demeanor and deep disdain for music, Masato believed that music was a waste of time and preferred the quietude of working in the fields. One day, while a young man named Koichi and a Zen monk played in the woods, Masato heard them and approached with an irritated expression on his face. "Masato, what are you doing here? This music is annoying and disturbs the village's peace. I can't wait for you to stop playing." Koichi, respectful but undeterred, replied calmly, "I'm sorry if it bothers you, Masato. Music is my passion, and I just try to bring some beauty into the world." The monk said, "Masato, music can have extraordinary power. It can bring people together and bring joy and serenity. Perhaps if you allowed yourself to listen with an open heart, you might find beauty in music too." Masato huffed and walked away, shaking his head in disapproval. However, curiosity compelled him to stop and listen for a moment. As Koichi continued to play his flute, Masato found himself gradually drawn to the sweet sound and the enveloping melody. After a while, Masato approached again, this time with a different light in his eyes. Masato said, "Perhaps I judged too hastily. This music, it's truly beautiful. I hadn't realized how powerful and calming it could be." Koichi smiled gently. "Music can touch even the hardest hearts, Masato. I'm glad you gave our music a chance." From that day on, Masato changed his attitude toward music. Despite his gruff nature, he learned to recognize the beauty in Koichi's melody and respect it as an art form that could bring joy and a sense of peace. The teaching of this story is that beauty can be found even in things that initially seemed alien or bothersome. Music, in this case, is an art that has the power to transform even the hardest hearts. When listened to with an open and unbiased mind. Number 35. The Paradox of Absence of Knowledge. In a remote Zen monastery, there was a master known for his wisdom and ingenuity, named Ken. One day, an arrogant scholar approached him and said, "Master Ken, show me your wisdom. Tell me something so profound that it changes my mind." Master Ken smiled slightly and said, "True wisdom lies in recognizing the absence of knowledge. Imagine a glass already full of knowledge. If you want to learn from me, first you must empty your glass." The scholar was confused. but decided to heed the master's advice. Reluctantly, he began to set aside his beliefs and preconceptions, trying to learn without judgment. After days of study, the scholar returned to Master Ken and said, "Master, now I have emptied my glass. What should I fill with it?" Master Ken smiled again and said, "Nothing. Leave it empty. Embrace the absence of knowledge as your guide. When the glass is empty, it is ready to welcome any truth without resistance." The scholar, finally enlightened, understood the paradox. True wisdom was not just in learning, but also in accepting the absence of knowledge and in being willing to be open to new perspectives without prejudices. The metaphor of the glass being already full of knowledge highlights the importance of emptying one's mind of preconceptions and prejudices in order to truly learn. Embracing the absence of knowledge allows for openness to new perspectives and the willingness to learn without resistance. The story emphasizes the value of humility and the willingness to acknowledge our mental limitations. When we empty our minds of preconceived notions and remain open to new ideas, we create a space for wisdom to enter. Accepting the absence of knowledge rather than trying to fill the mind with information leads to genuine understanding and personal growth. 36. The anger of a child. Once upon a time, there was a child in a small Zen village known for being particularly naughty. He yelled at other children, stole their toys, and often damaged people's belongings. Oh, wow. Child is naughty. Parents and villagers were concerned about his behavior, but no one knew how to teach him kindness and compassion. One day, an elderly Zen monk offered to help the child. He took the child to a quiet garden in the monastery, where there was a calm and clear pond. The monk looked at him with gentle eyes and said, "I know you're angry and confused, but I want to teach you something important." The child, skeptical, replied, "What can you teach me? I don't care about anything." The monk smiled and said, "Look at the water in the pond. I see your anger as the mud stirring up the water. It's hard to see clearly through the agitated water, isn't it?" The child nodded. The monk continued, "Now, observe what happens when we let the water be still. After a while, the mud settles to the bottom and the water becomes clear. When the water is clear, we can see our reflection clearly." The child sat beside the pond and watched the water slowly calm down. As time passed, the water became clear, and he could see his reflection. The monk said, "Anger is like mud in the water. When you're angry, your mind is like the agitated water. You can't see who you truly are and how your behavior affects others. But if you can find calmness and let the anger settle, you can see clearly and understand the power of your actions. The child pondered these words and slowly began to change his behavior. He learned to calm his anger and act with kindness toward others. This Zen story teaches us that even those who seem mean or angry can find calmness and kindness within themselves if they learn to calm the storm within their minds. Anger and cruelty can be transformed into wisdom and compassion when inner peace is found. And that is where we are going to leave it, my dear friends. Please tune in next time to hear number 37, The Lesson of the Wind. And this has been Ruby, signing off.